Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Andy here. I coach men and women on living lives of abundance and joy. If they can all do it, you sure as hell can too. You guys and girls are getting quiet, semi-whispering ASMR Andy this morning. Emmy is still asleep, and I talk a lot on this channel about giving yourself permission to suck and not feeling like you need to go out there and approach women and be perfect when you do it. You can just go out there and kind of suck at it a little bit. I promise nothing bad will happen, but if you give yourself permission to suck and you don't expect yourself to be perfect, you'll take more action, you'll improve far quicker, you'll actually get to a point where you're pretty decent. The same thing in business. Rather than saying, I need a big business plan, I have to know what I'm going to do, I have to know how to change people's lives, I have to have a perfect product and all of that, just start helping one person at a time and say, would you like to give me money for that? Or sell one product at a time and say, would you like to give me some money from that? So giving yourself permission to suck is such a key, integral part of this community. It's so bloody fucking helpful. And it's funny, I often give advice to all of you guys and girls, and I'm constantly reminded as I coach all of you and as I do this content for all of you that I'm still in the process of learning all of this. I'm right there with all of you. I'm not the expert. I've never said that I am. And this morning was one of those days where I'm sort of relearning my own learning lessons. So this morning I woke up very early at 3 a.m. I just really didn't feel like going back to sleep. So I got up. It's now 6 a.m. So I've been awake for 3 hours and I've basically procrastinated sitting down and doing a piece of content for all of you. And I point this out to show you that you're not the only one that sits around procrastinating. A lot of you guys and girls beat yourselves up and you're like, why am I being such a pussy? Why am I being so lazy? Why am I sitting there not taking action? What's wrong with me? I walked around for 3 hours and I couldn't talk to a girl. What's wrong with me? Nothing is wrong with you. You're a human being. And sometimes we get very emotional. Sometimes we procrastinate things. Sometimes we're scared to take action. Sometimes we avoid the things that we know would make us feel really good. I feel really good. I mean, literally right this second now, as I'm talking to you. What are we, 3 minutes into this video? I feel better than I did 3 minutes ago. I feel so much better when I start talking to all of you and actually start the process of doing a piece of content. But 3 minutes ago, I was sitting there going, yeah, I'm going to avoid, I'm going to procrastinate, like I said, for the last 3 hours. I'm a human just like all of you. I think one of the differences, or one of the things I'm still working on, but a lot of you are maybe not quite as far ahead in, is that I don't beat myself up. If I sit there and procrastinate for 3 hours, I'm not beating myself up while I'm doing it. Yes, I'm putting a little bit of pressure on myself. Yes, I'm trying to push myself to get to the point where I do sit down and talk to all of you and record this piece of content. But I'm not sitting there having this big, like, David versus Goliath, like, painful, stressful battle. I'm not battling myself. Yes, I procrastinate, and that's okay. And so I try and bring a lot of you that same piece. I know a lot of you procrastinate. You're sitting around wishing that you could just get up and go to the gym or go outside and talk to that girl or start your business or whatever it might be. It's okay that you procrastinate. You don't have to add more guilt and shame on that. And funnily enough, the thing that we sometimes need is a little bit of a break from ourselves. We often put so much pressure on ourselves and we're like, I have to take action. I have to be a fucking alpha male. I have to be this perfect fucking woman. I have to be absolutely perfect in everything I do. If you would just stop that pressure for half a second, you might relax for long enough that you then feel decent, and then you want to go outside and talk to that cute girl, or you want to go to the gym, or you want to start the business. That's what I did for the last 3 hours. I call it procrastination, but I kind of had a pretty fucking nice time. I went for a walk and recorded a couple of voice messages for Emmy while she's sleeping. Told her I love her, that I'm grateful for her, all of that sort of stuff. Talked through a few business things with her. I sent Cam a couple of funny videos, and to Bronwyn, the girl that we've been seeing, I sent her a funny video. I read through my course in Miracles, which is like a 365-day project that I'm taking right now. I read a couple of chapters of a book. I watched a bunch of YouTube videos that made me smile and laugh, and I tried to find ones that wouldn't be doom scrolling. I try and be a little bit more, I guess, intentional with the stuff that I watch on YouTube and the social media content that I consume. So I watched a couple of funny videos that made me feel good, a couple of interesting motivational videos, stuff like that. I had a pretty good morning. And so if we don't beat ourselves up when our body or our mind or our heart or our soul is not quite ready to take that action yet, if instead of just forcing ourselves and using almost like self-flagellation on ourselves, if we actually just chill for half a second and say, okay, look, fine, I've tried going outside and talking to that girl. I've tried to start my business. I've tried whatever it is that I want to try. Fucking hell, I've tried for like several hours now. Okay, I just seem to be stuck. I've hit some sort of wall. Okay, what if I give myself permission to suck? And that's what I'm doing here. That's what this video is. I literally said to myself, just sit down and hit record, Andy, and whatever you say is fine. It doesn't have to be perfect. I have literally no game plan right now. I have no plan. Most of the time, I don't really have a game plan of what I'm going to talk about, but definitely no plan today. And that giving myself permission to suck has been such a cheat code for me. You know, letting go of the expectations that I have to do a good job, letting go of the expectations that I have to be perfect, and just actually starting from a place of humility. Like, I'm not the best content creator. Most of you are not going to be the most smooth Casanova ever on the planet when you go outside to talk to a girl. Most of you are not going to be the best businessman or businesswoman or entrepreneur that the world has ever seen, especially not at the start. You know, I'm still only, like 4 years into my content, so I'm not the expert yet. I haven't been doing this for like 20 years or something. And if we would all just embrace that role as like a learner or a student, instead of trying to pretend or thinking that we need to be the teacher or the expert all the fucking time, man, we would get so much more done. It's our ego that holds us back from taking action. It's that part of us that's scared and thinks that we have to do a good job and be perfect at stuff, and then we'll never get rejected. Then we'll never get hurt. I'm here to tell you that you're going to make mistakes, and really they're learning lessons. You're going to fuck up and fail, and again, they're just learning lessons. But that's going to happen no matter how hard you try and be perfect. Like, take it from me as someone who spent literally years trying to be that like perfect alpha male, like all of that nonsense. As hard as I tried to be perfect, it only brought my insecurities more to the surface. And at some point I was like, how about I stop fucking lying to myself and just admit that I don't always know what I'm doing. I get nervous sometimes. I'm scared sometimes. I procrastinate sometimes. I don't always know what I'm doing. Cool. Let's tell the fucking truth. And there's confidence in that. There's confidence in saying, I don't always know what I'm doing. Cool. How can I improve? But when you're too busy sitting there thinking you have to appear to be the perfect fucking man or the perfect fucking woman, or you're putting all this pressure on yourself that you're not going to start until you actually know what you're doing and where you're going to go and what the plan is and all of that, you never take action. And any action that you do take is so clouded by your own overthinking and insecurity and anxiety that it's not really fun. There is a freedom in just saying, you know what? I might suck. That's okay. Fuck it. Let's try anyway. There's such a freedom in that, and you actually get to just feel that inner joy, the inner childlike part of you that wants to just go out into the world and play. So many of you just want to go outside and play. You want to go talk to women and you want it to be fun. You want to work on your dating life and you want to enjoy it. You want to start a business and enjoy the fruits of your labor instead of being this over-anxious, overthinking, neurotic mess. So many of you, so many of us, I do this too, become like neurotic messes, overthinking everything. What if this person doesn't like what I have to say? What if I don't say it in a good way? What if people don't think I'm funny? What if people don't think I'm interesting? What if I get rejected? What if all these people think I'm a stupid piece of shit? What if I get criticized? What if I have emotions? What if I feel anxiety? What if I feel sad? What if I try really hard and it doesn't work out for me? But what if I waste my money? What if I waste my time? What if I get to the end of my life and I'm not happy with what I've done? It's just this like big ball of neuroses, I guess. It's this big death ball of just pain and suffering. And if we say, I'm not going to play that game anymore, I'm done. There's freedom in that. If we say, I don't have to be perfect, I'm sick of trying to be perfect, how about I stop fucking lying to myself and lying to the world and just admit that I am human. I don't have all the answers. I was born without an instruction manual. We all were. It's just that so many of us are so fucking busy, desperately hunting for that magical, mythical instruction manual, or pretending that we have it and we know what we're doing. Look at me. I'm a big fucking alpha male. I know everything. I know all the fucking rules. Let me tell you how to live your life, even though I'm not you. I don't know the first thing about you. Let me tell you and other people how to live their lives. That's fear, that's insecurity, that's neuroses, that's ego, that's arrogance. And it all comes from that scared place inside of us that's afraid to just admit, you know what, fine, fucker, I don't really know what I'm doing. I don't understand life. I don't know why I'm here. I don't know what the fuck the point of this is. I don't know if there's a God. I don't know if there's 10 million gods. I don't know if there's anything outside of this. I don't know if the stars up above even exist. I have no proof they're there. That could be a flashy screensaver, and we look at it in our telescope and we're like, oh, look at that star over there. And it's like, bro, that's just a screensaver. There's nothing there. I don't know. This could be a simulation. How could I possibly know any of those answers? And anybody who does tell you that they know the answers, which by the way is most human beings, the vast majority of humans on this planet will tell you they know the answers, won't they? They get very attached to their religion or their spirituality or their atheism, which is a religion in itself. To say, I know there is no God, fucking hell, what is that but blind faith? You have blind faith in your own ego, your own guess, your own mind. How can you trust that any more than you would trust some book that you found somewhere or some other person wearing a robe or whatever, telling you that they have the answers? And so most human beings on this planet are really scared to be deeply fucking vulnerable and admit the truth that they don't know what the fuck is going on. They don't know why they're here. They don't know what life is. They don't know what existence is. They don't know what consciousness is. Is it something outside of the brain? Is it purely a brain construct? They don't really know much of anything. But if you can have the courage to admit that, which yes, can be scary. It's pretty fucking scary to say, you know what, fine, faggot, I don't know what I'm doing. Are you happy? I don't know anything. To admit that is scary at first and then incredibly freeing, because now you're not attached to your stories and your safety nets and your flotation device. What's that thing called? That fucking ring? Whatever that's called. You guys know what I mean. Your life raft, your life thing. My brain is not working. I woke up at 3 a.m. But now you're not clinging to that safety net. And that is what the illusion of supposed certainty is. It's a safety net, but it's a false one. It's based on illusion. To say, I know there's a God, or I know there isn't a God, or I know what I'm doing, or I know how to be an alpha male, or I can tell you how to live your life, or I can tell you what the answer is, or you should do this, or you need to listen to me, or this is good, or this is bad. To be that certain is just a house of cards that we all construct to try and distract ourselves from the actual real fact that we don't know why we're here. We're a little bit scared of what might happen when we get to the end of it, or the perceived end of it. And we're kind of born a little bit of a dumbass, aren't we? We're all a little bit of a dumbass. We're all born as literally knowing nothing, literally not a single concept. And all we're really all trying to do is piece together little bits and pieces and go, okay, well, I tried this a bunch of times and then this happened. So maybe there's a rule there. Maybe there's a pattern there that I can figure out. What have you learned? And we talk to each other and we communicate and we come up with stories and all of that. We're just trying to figure this life thing out. But if we can have the courage to admit, I don't know everything, man, that is such a beautiful place to start from, because now you're open to learning. I say this all the time, but basically everything I have ever learned has been because I've been able to admit, I don't know. But so many of you are so focused on knowing or thinking that you know. And I see your stories in the comments sometimes. I get coaching clients who come to me with a million stories, a million ego attachments, and that's okay. I have a lot of ego attachments still too. I'm still working on letting all of them go, or as many of them as I can. But so many of you tell stories and limiting beliefs, and I'm short, so I can't meet women. I'm this age, so therefore it's too late for me. I know it won't work out for me, Andy. I already know. And you're so devoted to your own ego as if it is a deity. You're so attached to your own stories as if they are somehow protective, and they seem protective. You know, a little sweet lie seems like it's protecting us, and we cling on so tightly. And we're like, no, Andy, I know it's too late for me. I know. I'm certain. It's a fact. I see a lot of you using the word facts or certain or no, I know. You don't know, especially with a lot of your limiting beliefs that I have so much tangible proof. Your limiting belief is not true. And guess what? I'm willing to admit I might even be wrong. Maybe you are the one exception out there who can't get a girlfriend or can't build a business or can't do whatever it is that you want to do. Okay. If that is true, which we don't know until you really try, great. What else are you going to do in your life? Are you going to sit around feeling sad and sorry for yourself and be like, well, I guess I'm too old and I can't get a girlfriend? Amazing. Cool. If that's true, which I don't think it is. I think it's just a bunch of bullshit. But even if that's true, great. What do you want to work on now? If you can't get a girlfriend, that frees up a whole lot of time to start a business or something. Isn't that exciting? Wow. Think how much time you'll save not having a girlfriend. Emmy, my girlfriend, adds so much to my life and I love her to bits, but there's a lot of time spent in a relationship. If I could never get a girl in the rest of my life, maybe I'd be spared. Maybe that'd free up a lot of free time. Man, I could play a lot more video games, and I love video games. I could go for a lot more walks outside. I'd probably have more time to spend on my coaching business. I might even make more money. Wouldn't that be cool? What would I spend that money on? Wow, I could spend it on my friends. I could give it to homeless people. I could go on wild adventures and travel the world. Man, I actually might be more free without a girlfriend. You can start thinking like that. And so if we're able to move past our assumptions about life and our ego attachments, and our stories that it's too late for us and therefore that's a bad thing, or I can never get a girlfriend and that's the worst thing in the world, my life can never be happy because of that, or I'm too this or I'm too that, or people are like this, or women are like that, or men are like this. If we can just get the fuck over our attachments to our absolutely obsessive, ego-dominated religions, like our stories and our ego attachments are basically religions in and of themselves. Like so many of you are dedicated, absolute religious zealots, dedicated to the story that you're not good enough. You're so fucking obsessed with it, you probably think about it hundreds of times a day. I know, because I used to be like that. I used to be so utterly convinced that I wasn't good enough that that was all I could think about. And I saw it everywhere. Like someone would maybe not smile at me when I walked past them and I'd be like, see, there's proof that I'm not good enough. Someone would maybe be rude to me and I'd be like, see, they're rude to me because I'm not good enough. And I just used everything as confirmation. It's something called confirmation bias. And I used everything as confirmation bias that I wasn't good enough. And everything fed into that story. It was my fucking deity that I worshipped every day. I am not good enough. I am a piece of shit. You know where that landed me? In prison. Depressed and suicidal in prison. Until finally I realized through the unconditional love of my mother, quite a lot of love from my father, though he struggled quite a lot, unconditional love from my grandfather and my grandmother and some other family friends. Through all of that unconditional love, I realized maybe my story is not correct. Maybe I'm not unlovable because all of these people love me. When I'm in jail, I hurt someone, I'm here. These people still love me. Why is that? Maybe my story was full of shit that no one could love me and that I'm unlovable and unworthy. Maybe I was wrong. And that was quite a challenge to admit. That took quite a lot of humility. But I tell you, nothing humbles you like going to fucking prison. I mean, hell, nothing humbles you like being arrested. That was the moment that I started getting my life together and improving and working on myself. Prison was, I'd already been doing like a year and a half worth of like self-improvement by that point. There's quite a slow process with the justice system sometimes. But nothing wakes you up more than being arrested or sitting in prison. And you realize, and not everyone is humble in there. I would say maybe 50% of the people in prison are not very humble and really struggled with that. And that's okay. A lot of people struggle with humility, don't they? But the other 50% were like, wow, this is the wake-up call that I needed. Maybe my ego attachments were wrong. Maybe my stories were wrong. A lot of people are in prison because they believe there are no consequences or they are above the consequences. The rules don't apply to me. And they quickly find out that that might not be true. That's why you're in prison. And then you realize, holy shit, my story was full of shit. I'm very humbled by that. And so a bunch of us formed a group and improved and let go of our attachments. And I tell all of you this story to try and gently shake you out of your own attachments to your own stories that you're unlovable, unworthy, that you're not going to make it, that now's not the right time, I'm not good enough, I should wait till summer, or I have to do this, or whatever other stuff that you're attached to, whatever stories that you are obsessed with, whatever deities you worship. And when I say deities, I'm not talking about the deities that religions talk about. No. Most of you think that you might care, or those of you that are religious and do believe in a God, you think you love that God. You think you worship that God, and you think you place that God up here at the top. No, the vast majority of you that believe in a God, you place your own ego one step above that. You place your own certainty in your own brain higher than you believe in your own God, the God that you read in your books or that you pray to every Sunday or whatever it is that you might do. I know there's a lot of people out there of different religions and blah, blah, blah. And there's some people that aren't religious at all. But those of you that are religious, stop and think for a little bit. Do I let go and surrender and let God, whatever your conceptualization of that word means, do I let God run the show, or am I trying to insert myself all the time? Do I actually just stop and take a deep breath and say, you know what, God, you got this one. I'll let you handle that other person. Or are you in there trying to control other people all the time? Is your ego running the show? Or is your humility and your love in your religion or your God running the show? And for those of you who don't believe in God or who don't believe in religion, and I used to be, and I was never an atheist, I wasn't that arrogant, but I was agnostic, and I said, I don't think there's a God, but I can't really know. That's where I was for most of my life. If you ask me where I am now, my answer is just, I don't fucking know. How am I supposed to know? That's my answer now. But back when I was a little bit more agnostic and I said, I don't think there's a God, I worshipped intelligence. That was the thing that I cared about the most. I was very bamboozled by people like Christopher Hitchens and, people who used flowery, wordy language and had really long, eloquent speeches. And I just worshipped the intellect. And the intellect is beautiful, of course. But for those of you who don't believe in God or don't believe in any of that sort of stuff or something higher, you worship the intellect and rationality. Okay, that's your deity. But are you placing rationality, stoicism, logic, and reason, are you placing that here? Or is your ego one step above that? Are there times when you're irrational and you don't follow logic and it's one rule for you, another rule for other people, or you get very angry and frustrated and you go, I wish they would just do what I want. Would you want them to do that back to you? Well, no, that's different. How's it different? Well, because if I'm honest, I'd say it's because I'm angry. And so I guess the point here is we have these things that we say are our highest principles. For some of you, that's God and love and family and all of that. For others of you, that's intellect and being rational and being reasonable. That's what most atheists believe that they are. I'm rational, I'm reasonable, I'm logical, except when I'm not, and I put the ego way up here. And I say all of this not to guilt or shame any of you. I often struggle with my ego too. But I'm saying all of this to try and shake some of you out of the ego attachments that you have and the certainties that you have. You sit there and say, I know it's not good enough. I know I'm not good enough. I know it's too late for me. I know I can't change. I know women suck. I know men suck. I know I can never get another job that's better than the one I just lost. This person in my life died, and that sucks. I know it sucks. I know it's a bad thing. I know it can only ever be a bad thing. It can never be a blessing in disguise. I know what the future is going to hold. So many of you literally think you can predict the future. Son, you can't predict jack fucking shit. Try it. Try actually writing down on a piece of paper. Try being intellectually honest and write down on a piece of paper what you think is going to happen 1 week from now. Like what you think you're going to be doing 1 week from now. You'll be wrong like 75% of the time. Try and predict what you're going to be doing 1 month from now. It should be easy, right? It's you. You're in control. You can predict what you're going to do a month from now. Try it. Write it on a piece of paper. Be intellectually honest. Be scientific and rational about this instead of just assuming. Try it. I have done this exercise. I have done this exercise a lot of times. Almost drove myself mad in a good way, trying to predict a week from now, a day from now. And things would pop up. Things would come up. I would change my mind. I'm a human being with emotions and I'm somewhat irrational sometimes, just like the rest of you. At least I admit it. Lots of you admit it too. But I couldn't really predict a week from now. I definitely couldn't predict a year from now. I definitely couldn't predict 10 years from now. And I just found that I started to let go of my certainty of knowing the future, of even needing to be certain about the future. So many of you ask questions where you're basically trying to get me to predict the future for you, or you're basically asking for a guarantee from me. No, that's not what this life is. I know a lot of people will sell you a guarantee. It's very profitable. I could sit here and say, I know the answers. I know how to get every girl. I know how you can start a business and guarantee success. Here's a 60-day money-back guarantee for my coaching program. I could promise you all of that. I'd just be a liar like all the rest of the liars, and they don't mean to be. Maybe some of them do. But we can't predict the future. A lot of your questions ask me to. You ask me for a guarantee. Hey man, what pickup line can I say so that I don't get rejected? Hey dude, this girl likes me. How do I know if she likes me back? You go in there and you ask her and you find out. And I can't promise you that she won't be mean to you. I can't promise you that you won't feel sad if she says no. I can't promise you that it will work out and you'll have kids together and you'll be wonderfully happy and beautiful. I can't promise that I'll be with Emmy a year from now, a month from now. I can't promise I'll be with her tomorrow. I never have promised that to her. That would be unbelievably unkind and innocent and naive and childish. And that's what most people do in relationships, don't they? Honey bunny, I promise I'll always be with you till death do us part. It's a beautiful sentiment. It's also incredibly unrealistic. Now, what you can promise is, as long as I want to, I will put every single fiber of my being into building this relationship and building us and building you and being there for you. I will put effort into unconditionally loving you and not judging you and not expecting you to do things which I wouldn't do myself. I won't hold one standard for you and another for me. I will do everything I can to improve your life and my own and look after myself and give myself love and then give you what's left over. I absolutely promise all of that. And that's what I've promised her. And that's all any of you can ever promise yourselves or each other. But we often think that if we make promises for the future, or if we could somehow find certainty, or if some bold fucking beautiful ginger retard on the internet could just promise me some pickup line that I could say would work every time or most of the time, then I'd be happy. If he could just give me the 10-step plan to success, then I would follow it and it would all be great. I have given you that plan. A lot of you don't listen to it time and time again, and it's okay that you do this. Like, I'm not saying this as a criticism, but over and over and over again, every single one of your questions is missing my 3-step formula for success. Number 1, give yourself permission to suck. It's how I started this podcast today. Number 2, just take some baby steps forward every day. Number 3, keep going. So many of you don't even do the first step. In fact, basically every single question that any of you ever ask me would be solved if you just followed that first step. Humility. Giving yourself permission to suck. If you just tried, you wouldn't need me. Literally. I've said this before. My mission is kind of to make myself irrelevant in your life, in all of you, in all of your lives. My goal here is for you not to need me. Everything I'm giving you is everything I've ever discovered, and it might be true, it might not, I don't know. That's why you give yourself permission to suck and you experiment. But I'm just a dude who might be a little bit further along than some of you. I'm not any better than you or any of that sort of stuff. I just know some shit that maybe you don't know. And more to the point, I'm willing to say I don't know a lot more than most of you are willing to say. Most of you are so afraid to say, I don't know. In fact, a lot of your questions, like I said, have so many terms in them like I know, and it's a fact, and I'm certain, and I can't, and all of that sort of stuff. If you would just embrace giving yourself permission to suck, you'd go out there and take a lot more action. You'd realize you don't need all the answers before you get started. In fact, that's not how that works. You get started and then you start to learn some of the answers or potential answers, or you realize you don't fucking need the answers anyway. You just give things a go and see what happens. Why do you need things to work out the way that your ego wants them to? Why does that girl have to say yes to you? Why can't it be a beautiful adventure if she says no? Why can't it be a chance for stoicism and building your resilience if she rejects you? Why does it have to, why do I have to pretend I don't? But why do you want me to go along with your cute little story that rejection is a bad thing? Why am I supposed to believe in your little fantasy fucking ego trip that a girl saying no to you is the worst outcome in the entire world? No, it's what you fucking need, man, because you're missing humility. You need a big fucking chip to that ego. You need that ego to start coming down back to reality a little bit. Not every girl on the planet is going to like you. Not every potential client is going to give you money. Not every person on the planet is going to be your friend. Not every person on the planet is even going to be nice or polite or cordial to you. It's okay if some people fucking offend you. It's probably what you need. Anytime I feel myself criticized or attacked or hurt by one of your comments, like a YouTube comment or something, I immediately go, this is what I fucking need. Like, bring more of it. Thank you. I need this. As much as my ego would like to say, please be nice to me. Please don't attack me. Please don't offend me. Please don't be rude to me. Yeah, my ego would love it if everyone on the planet was nice to me. But maybe what I need is for some people to be a little bit unkind so I can get the fuck over myself. That is still a lesson that I'm learning. I am deep in the middle of learning that lesson, very much like the rest of you. And so these things that we say are bad, rejection, failing, mistakes, not getting what I want. It's awful if I don't get what I want. That's literally how children speak. And that's okay. I'm a big child too, just like the rest of you. A lot of the time, my first thought is like, I didn't get what I want. That's bad. And then I'm like, no, deep breath, son. Come up with 3 reasons why this could potentially turn out to be a good thing. Well, maybe this is teaching me that I don't get everything I want. Maybe this is teaching me that sometimes if I don't get what I want, I actually get something even better. Holy shit, if I just shut the fuck up and wait a day or a week, this thing that I'm saying is terrible might turn out to be the best thing that could ever happen to me. And maybe I've been spared. Maybe if I did get what I want, it would turn out that that person isn't very good for me or something. Like that girl that said no to you, maybe she's just not in a good emotional state and she would hurt you and you guys would be fucking terrible together. But you don't know that. You're too busy pretending that you know the future. I know that she would have been good for me and we would have had a great time. I know that I would have improved her life and we would have had great sex. I know that. No, you fucking don't. What do you have, a crystal ball? And I used to do this a lot. I still do sometimes. I've just gotten decent at letting go of it. Anytime someone wouldn't sign up for my coaching program, I used to say to Emmy, I'd never say it to the person because it wouldn't be that kind, but maybe I could have. Maybe I could have at least been fucking honest with people. I would say to them, yeah, man, that's okay. But deep down, I would harbor resentment and I would go and speak to Emmy and I'd be like, you know, it just really frustrates me because I know we could have changed this guy or this girl's life. I know we could have been good for them. I'm what they need. The coaching program is what they need. Like, they're struggling with this. Why the fuck won't they let us help them? Like, literally, if they would just let us help them, we could change their life like we've changed so many other people's lives. And I was so certain of that. I was so up my own fucking ass. I had my head up my own ass. I was sniffing my own fucking farts, thinking that I was the greatest human being on the entire planet or the best coach on the planet. I was so fucking arrogant, and really, I was just insecure. Deep down, I was afraid that maybe my coaching wasn't literally what every single person on the planet needs. What a hilarious statement, but that's how a lot of you feel. One person says no to you and you're like, God damn it, I know we would have had a good time together. No, you fucking don't. She said no to you probably because she doesn't think that you would be good for her. What do you know better than her? You know better than her who's the person who has her own preferences. What the fuck? At that point, that's almost a dictatorship, and that's how we walk around a lot of the time. We're like, I should tell other people what to do. That's why we live mostly in cultures that, to some extent, dictate to us what they think we should and shouldn't do. Even in Western countries where there's obviously a lot more freedom than like communism or socialism or any of that, the government will tell you what to do all the fucking time at the drop of the hat, constantly, just all the time. The news will tell you what to do, what to think all the time. They'll say, you should do this, you have to do this, you must do this, you need to do this. It's like, I'm sorry, I don't need to do anything. I don't even need to eat or breathe. I can just die if I want to. There's nothing I need to do. You're welcome to tell me that cute little story that I have to do everything you want me to do, but that's just a dictatorship, and that's how we live. When we believe that our ego is correct, when we worship at the temple of our ego and treat it like a fucking deity, we treat it like a god above the gods that we claim to believe in, like our own intellect if you're an atheist, or the God in your book if you're religious. You literally, or we literally, I do the same thing, treat our own ego as if it is above God. We would literally worship and believe the ego before we would believe God or the intellect. And I used to do that, like I said. That was me with my coaching program. I know that the best thing for this person would be good, would be to join the coaching program, and that would be good for them. And then at some point I started to question my own bullshit, and I was like, is that true? Maybe. But also maybe not. Maybe I'm not what they need. Maybe they need a different coach. Maybe they need someone more hardcore and alpha male. Maybe that's the journey they need to go on. It's a journey I went on. I went through that whole red pill alpha male phase. Maybe they need that. Maybe I'm too gentle and loving and I'm not what they need right now. And maybe I could help them, but they don't want me to. So should someone do something they don't want just because I think they should? That's how most people live their lives, by the way. They're like, you should be with me. Well, I don't want to, but you should because I want you to. Stop and think about that for a second. And that's how I was. Sometimes I still am. But if I'm fair to myself, most of the time I'm not now. But occasionally that crops up. Occasionally it crops up and I've just learned to let go of it. You know, that part of me that's like, they should do what I think they should do. Yeah, if I'm honest, I've let go of like 90% of that, but it's still there a little bit. I can still feel that temptation. And so I just questioned it with the coaching. I was like, how do I know that this is the best for them? What if they're stressed about money right now? And even taking a payment plan with me, what if that just stresses them out more? Do I want someone to be in my coaching program, but they're unhappy and stressed? Oh, but then I could coach them through that and I could help them. Yeah. But what if the stress was so strong and they were so stuck on that stress that they didn't really listen to me and my coaching? Or what if they didn't take the coaching seriously because they couldn't, because they were so in their own head about the stress, about money? Or what if they really, really, really just weren't ready to change? And the coaching program only works if you do the work. And so what if it was an act of kindness to themselves to say no to the coaching, even though they knew that I wanted them to join, that I would have really helped them, or I would have tried to help them? What if it was literally the kindest and best decision they could make for their life? Now I'm stuck with the question of, so do I want someone to do something that wouldn't be the kindest, highest ideal for their life just because I want them to? Do I want to live in that world where other people don't do the thing that would be the best good for them, the highest good for them, the most compassionate act of kindness, just because I want them to do what I want? Is that me being kind and compassionate? Do I want to be a force for net negativity on the world? Do I want to literally make the world a more coercive, forceful, dictatorship, totalitarian world? And it's a small thing. I'm not going out there and being the next Hitler. It's just talking some person into your coaching program. It's not a big deal. People do that all the time. They call it sales. They call it persuasion. They call it marketing. They call it advertising. There are entire $1 trillion of industries of people gently forcing. Let's just say the word, it's force. Forcing other people to do what they want them to do for money, or for power, or for validation, or to feel a little better about themselves, or even because they think it's for the higher good, for the greater good. How much did we hear that during 2020 when people were literally just being unbelievably unkind to other people and saying it's for the greater good? Fuck you, it's for the greater good. It's not a kind world, and it's not a world that I want to contribute to. I want to contribute to a world where people are able to make their own decisions and choose their own highest good. And I want to facilitate that for them. I want to be that one person. There's people like this, but I want to be that maybe rare person in their life who will just say, you know what, you're doing what you want, and it seems to be the most compassionate thing you can do for yourself. I love that. That's beautiful. And so I started changing that in my approach to coaching. It was sort of a subtle thing at first, but someone would, come on one of those free calls with me to see if they want to do coaching. We'd get to the end of it and I'd say, so, do you want to do the coaching program? Do you want to go ahead? And they'd say, no, I don't think I do. And I'd go, beautiful, man. I hope you have a nice life. And sometimes I would even send them an email afterwards and be like, hey, I hope you go and have the most amazing life ever. Coaching's there if you want it anytime. If not, go do this or go try this and this and this. And yeah, man, I wish you all the best. And it's funny, as I started doing that, I felt a lot of heaviness lift from my shoulders. I felt a lot lighter. I could sleep just that little bit better at night. I could definitely look myself in the mirror a lot more compassionately and lovingly. I didn't have that little voice in the back of my head saying, yeah, Andy, you talk about not forcing anyone, but you're pushing people with coaching sometimes. That went away. And I was like, yeah, I'm not perfect. Sometimes I can be pushy. I've been pushy in a couple of bits of content in the last few weeks. You might not have noticed. I'm aware of it, so I'm still pushy sometimes, but I'm letting go of more and more of that. And I found that brought me a profound sense of peace. And a funny thing happened. The amount of people that signed up for the coaching didn't really go down. It didn't change. In fact, maybe I could tell the story that it increased. That might just be because I'm doing more content. The channel's been lasting for a longer time, so it's hard to know. But the point is, it definitely didn't decrease. The money has gone up, slowly but surely. It's not even slow, is it? But linearly over the years, the money has gone up. The amount of changes that each coaching client has gone up, quite a lot actually, because I'm not using force. I'm not telling other people what they should do. I'm not thinking that I know what is best for other people. And I'm starting to hand all of you the power and saying, what do you want to do? You'll hear me say that on the channel all the time. What do you want? What do you think you would like to try next? What sounds good to you? What do you think would be fun to experiment with? What sort of principles do you want to live your life by? What are you trying to maximize for? Do you care about love? Do you care about safety? Do you care about compassion to others? Do you care about adventure? What do you care about rather than what I care about? Because they might be different things. They're often very different things. You are the only person who is capable of being you. And you're in the best position to be the best you that this planet can ever have. Not me. I can't run your life. I can't know who you are and who you want to be. I'm not in the driver's seat of your life. I'm too busy being in the driver's seat of my life. I'm in this body. I have this mind. I have this soul. I can't be you. And as I started shifting more towards that mindset, and this has been a long process over several years, this didn't just snap and happen. And if you go back several years, go back 4 years and look at my content, and you'll definitely see an incredibly different human being sitting there in front of you, talking to you. A lot of the time I was talking at you and dictating at you what you should do and what the right thing to do was and all of that. I try and do less of that now. Like I said, I still will do that sometimes in content. And then afterwards I cringe a little bit and then I'm like, no, it's okay, Andy. And sometimes I'll even go back and forth and be like, do I want to just not upload this video? Do I want to delete this video? Because yeah, I was kind of a bit of a dictator in this one a little bit. I got passionate, I got hot-headed, I started talking at the person. Do I want to re-record it and maybe be a bit more loving and compassionate? And once or twice I have. You would never know that. But some of you have left comments. I've done a video for you. And then I'm like, I don't think I was unconditionally loving to this guy or this girl. I'm going to re-record that. Sometimes I have just uploaded the original video and said, all right, Andy, this can be part of your journey. Upload that video. I still think it'll be helpful. I still think you're trying to genuinely help that person. Yeah, you gave a bit of tough love and you weren't super loving and kind at points, but I think overall this will be a net positive in that person's life. Hopefully, maybe, we'll see. But the point is, slowly over time, I've been trying to move more towards this, I don't know, peaceful Buddhist monk style of, I'm here for you and I'm going to listen to you. And maybe for some of you, it's the first time anyone has ever asked you this question. What do you want? Like, I'm not going to tell you what you should want. There's entire fucking media industries, marketing, advertising, sales, people trying to get you to buy shit, people, social media. Like, just, it feels like the whole world is a whole bunch of egos trying to tell you what to do constantly, all the time. Like yapping dogs, just barking bullshit at you. Opinions are worth exactly 0 cents. 0 cents on the dollar, and everyone's screaming they're literally unworthy, unworthwhile. And that's not me judging the opinions. Like, literally, opinions are a dime a dozen. It's like that thing. Opinions are like assholes. Everyone's got one. So if literally there's 8 billion opinions on the planet, you can see how they quickly become pretty diluted. And we say some opinions are higher than others. We say our opinions are at the top, even on matters that we have no understanding of. Again, so many of you in the comments will give your opinion and you worship the deity that you call your ego, or you worship your ego that you treat like a deity. And you say, I know better than Andy when it comes to dating and sex and relationships. And it's like, okay, what's your experience level? Like, let's talk. What's your experience level? Well, I am a virgin and I've never slept with anyone, but I know better than Andy. It's like, okay, champ, like, okay, come on. I wouldn't walk into a fucking, I don't know, bakery. That's a bad example because I did work in a bakery. I wouldn't walk into a fucking shoe store and be like, all right, guys, hey, I'm just here to give you tips on how to make better shoes. And they're going to be like, hey, who are you? And I'm like, oh, I'm just some dude off the fucking street. And they're like, what do you know about shoes? What do you mean? I know everything about shoes. I'm a fucking expert. And they're like, okay, like, where's your credentials? Have you worked in a shoe store? Fuck no. But I know everything. I know how you guys can make better shoes. You should put like red and blue and green and yellow and purple stripes on your shoe. And you should stop using leather because it's bad for the environment. We should start using fucking metal. Metal shoes would be so cool. They'd look so cool. We should just make pure metal shoes. And they're going to be like, what are you fucking talking about? Metal would overheat. It's not comfortable. If you drop something on it, there's a tiny chance that it will fracture and slice your fucking foot because metal is sharp. It's going to be expensive to make. So the shoes will be like hundreds of dollars. It's not an easy malleable material. We'd have to use like aluminium, or you Americans call it aluminum. What are you talking about? And I'm like, no, but I'm an expert. I know everything. That's so many of you when it comes to your own life and like sex and dating, where you're like, I know that I'm not good enough to get a girlfriend. It's like, that's me walking into a shoe store saying, I know you guys should make metal shoes, or you should make shoes out of rugs. You should make shoes out of carpet. Carpet feels so good. The whole shoe should just be carpet. And they'll be like, it won't hold its shape. It'll fall apart. And it's like, no, just fucking do what I say. That's so many of you where you're like, I know that this girl won't like me. I know no girls would like me. I'm an incel and I know it's always going to be like that. Okay, expert, who's literally a virgin and hasn't done the thing that you are supposedly the expert on. How could you be the expert? And that's been me a lot too. You know, this life thing. I'm 37 years old. I'll be 38 soon-ish. But this life thing has been a continuous lesson for me of like, you think you know, but you don't know jack shit. And it's taken me probably, I don't know, 100,000 times of being humbled. I have probably been humbled 1,000,000 times. I can't even count. It's been just infinite time. It's probably like 1,000,000,000,000 times. Like the little moments where you're like, oh, I'm sure this won't work out. And then you're like, wrong. Oh, I know what's going to happen. Wrong. Oh, I bet you I'm not going to have fun at this party. And then you have fun. Oh, this person's probably going to reject me. And then they end up sleeping with you. There's just like trillions of those moments. And yet my ego still is only just beginning to get it. That the ego isn't always correct. In fact, most of the time it's wrong. I don't always know the answers. In fact, most of the time I don't. Most of my opinions are half formed based on flaky evidence or no evidence at all. It's just a fucking feeling. I feel like this person is wrong. I feel like this person is bad. I feel like this is what's going to happen. It's like literally based on the most flimsy evidence. If I walked into a courtroom and said, Your Honor, that person is a bad person and they committed the crime, they're like, great. Like, so you have an eyewitness testimony, right? Like, tell us what happened. And I'm like, no. I just feel like he's an asshole. They'd be like, Yeah, like, why do you feel like that? Well, just look at him. I feel like he's an asshole. That's how a lot of you write comments, especially those of you who are in a place of hurt right now. And there's not too many of you, on this channel. I think we have a pretty positive community. But those of you who do, right, just unkind comments, lashing out at me or Emmy or other people or people in the comment section, were you just writing something unkind? Or where you say, like, I know this person. Like, we had a comment 6 months or a year ago back when I was reading some of the comments that was something like, I know this Andy and Emmy, I know their relationship is not going to last. It's like, that's walking into a courtroom saying, I know their relationship isn't going to last based on what? A feeling. A feeling. And you worship these feelings as if they are facts. I thought we all learned from the meme, your feelings are not facts. I thought we all took that on board, but no, and I didn't. I've needed to learn that lesson a billion times, that my feelings are not facts. It's a lesson that Emmy is still learning very much. With a lot of her feelings when it comes to money, she'll be stressed out about something and she'll be like, I'm just worried that no new clients will sign up. And I'll be like, I know, I get that. But every other time you felt like that and were so certain, like, oh, what if no one signs up? Someone would sign up a week later. Literally, she has just gone through this for the last 2 weeks. She's been stressed about this. She's like, I just have this really strong feeling. What if no one signs up? We had someone sign up yesterday. Every single time this happens. And I'm not immune to that, obviously. That's the point of this video. I still sometimes worship my own feelings too. And I'm not saying to bottle up feelings, but feelings aren't the entire story. We listen to the feeling. We don't suppress it. We don't get rid of it. We don't run away from it or fight it like an enemy. I'm just saying, look beyond the feeling. The feeling is the first draft of your story, but we can rewrite that story. And so your first feeling or your first thought might be, this sucks, this is awful. Can we rewrite that? Can we find a couple of ways why this might turn out to be a good thing? Can we look for the silver lining? Or can we start taking action and make it a good thing? If any of you are sitting there saying, I'm an incel, or I'm unlovable, or I can't start my business, or it's too late for me, what can you do to change things? What can you do to start that ball rolling? You worship at the temple of your ego and you say, it's not possible for me. What if you're wrong? Like, so many of you are so convinced your own bullshit is correct, and it is bullshit. My stuff is bullshit too. My opinion is such bullshit. But so many of you are so convinced that your own opinion, your own bullshit opinion is true, that you've never paused for half a second, or maybe you have, and you quickly stuff that back into the box and ignore that when the doubts and the insecurities start creeping in, and you're like, wait, maybe I can change. You're like, oh, let's get rid of that. No, 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 no. I want to go back to my certainty, my story, my narrative that I can't change. I can't be loved. I'm not good enough. There's no one out there for me. And even if there is, I'll never find them. I'm never going to be successful in business. I can never be happy. It's easy for you. You're tall or you're white or whatever fucking bullshit excuse you want to make up. You've never questioned, never really questioned. And that takes deep humility. It's also quite scary at first to start questioning yourself. You think you're going crazy. At least I did at the start. It's like, wait, my brain isn't always correct. What am I, psycho? No, it's literally psycho to believe every thought that pops into your head. That is psychotic. That is the ultimate narcissism. And most people, most of us, are walking around as like permanent pure narcissists. It's funny, I went on a live stream yesterday with Girlfriend Guide for Guys, Amanda. I've had her on my channel. We went on her channel. And we went on there to give advice and give love and all of that sort of stuff. It was a great stream. But one of the comments kind of stuck out at me because it really made me think, where someone was, being a bit negative. And he said, these guys are narcissists. I can't believe you're letting narcissists like this on your stream. And I was like, are you not a narcissist? Like, don't you just worship your own ego? You're worshiping your own opinion that we're narcissists. How do you know we're narcissists? What has given you that impression? Your feelings. You have a feeling that we are narcissists, and we might be, I don't know. Probably to some extent. I believe my own ego sometimes. That's pretty fucking narcissistic. I'm working every day on letting that go and trusting reality or actual fucking tangible facts that are in front of me instead of my feelings. So I'm working on being a little bit less of a narcissist. So yeah, to some degree, I am a narcissist. But holy fuck, imagine not believing that you're a narcissist, or not even realizing that you yourself are a narcissist too. Like everyone on this planet is, until we start to question our own thinking and question the thoughts that pop into our own head. We just automatically believe our own thoughts are correct, our own preferences are right, our own opinions are true, and everyone else should get on board with us. That is the definition of narcissism. Any of you that have ever gone on Twitter and argued with someone about politics, that is the definition of narcissism. Needing someone else to agree with your political positions or your principles or your values or any of that. And most of the time, it's not even values. It's like opinions about how other people should live their life. It's not even virtues. Most people are not discussing virtues or principles. Like, how can we lead a beautiful life where we add value to other people? How can we build a beautiful society where everyone's happy? Like, most of you are not arguing about that. People are arguing about like women should do this with their body, and here's abortions, and here's gun rights, and here's this. And you can tell a story that it affects me and all of that. But most of it's just arguing about opinions. And the fact that most people who argue about politics have this desperate, strong need for the other person to get on board with their opinion, that tells you that it's not coming from a secure, peaceful place. And if there are any of you that are feeling like you constantly argue about anything really, but you're constantly arguing, especially politics or something like that, I would start to, and you can do whatever you want. I'm not going to tell you what to do in a video about how I'm not going to tell you what to do. But for me, it's been really helpful to start to question, why do I need these people to believe me and agree with me and tell me that I'm correct and that I change their mind and they're grateful for me and all of that? Why do I need that? Is my position so insecure and shaky that I can't be okay with other people disagreeing me? If Socrates and Plato and all of those people taught us anything, a principle is not a principle if it can't stand up to scrutiny. An opinion is not worth anything if it crumbles at the first little bit of discourse or discussion or discord, which just means like disagreement. If it falls apart immediately and you go to shit and become an emotional wreck, which it's okay, I've done that a million times. Lots of us do. It's the human condition sometimes, right? But if you fall apart because someone disagrees with you, then your position wasn't that peaceful. You don't believe your own opinion if you feel the need to desperately fucking defend it, because the truth doesn't need defending. It stands on its own as it is. And the truth goes, you can believe me or don't. I don't care. Whatever. Believe me or don't. And if you want to change your mind, you can. If you don't, I don't give a fuck. It's a position that I'm doing my best to sit in on this channel. You know, I'm not always perfect with this. I've done videos in the past where I talk about some neediness that I've had with all of you. You know, I need you to believe that I'm a good coach. I need you to believe that I'm intelligent. I need you to change your life and follow the advice. Like, I've talked about that in the past, but I'm trying every day to be a little bit more peaceful in myself, my life, my content, my coaching, all of that. Things like giving myself permission to suck really helps more than you could ever imagine. Look at this video we've done. I sat here for 60 minutes so far. It's 7 a.m. I started at 6 a.m. Holy shit. Because I started by giving myself permission to suck. And this is what I say to all of you. If you can just give yourself permission to suck, beautiful things will happen. But the point is, I'm trying to sit in that place of peace. And if you want to follow my advice and follow my content and, you know, be part of this community, amazing. If you don't want to, that's beautiful too. I try and sit in that place. If someone wants to come to coaching, amazing. I'll pour my heart and soul into trying to change their life and trying to do everything I can to help that person. If they don't want to, amazing. I'll give them some parting wisdom and parting shots and say, you know, I wish you all the best, nothing but love for you. Now, I kind of hinted at this before, but that's been a beautiful game changer in my coaching. It certainly helps me sleep a lot better at night, and it seems to help a lot of you more when I'm more loving and gentle and still give you advice. I don't just give loving platitudes. I tell you, you know, here's what I did. You can follow this same formula. Maybe it'll work for you. So I still give you guides and advice and all of that. And I will continue to do so. You know, this isn't going to become purely just a feel-good channel, though feeling good is pretty nice. Isn't it funny how we criticize feel-good channels? I think a lot of us in the current day and age, especially on social media, enjoy feeling good for once. You know, some channels I go on literally just to feel good. The entire point of the channel is to feel good. Discover connection is one of the channels. Yes theory is another one. The dodo is another one. There's lots of channels that literally just exist to make you feel good. I love those channels. But I promise I'll continue to still give some advice too. But anyway, as I was saying, as I've become more peaceful, it just feels like a new chapter, a new way of living. It's not even a chapter. It's like an entire new universe that I get to exist in. And all of you are welcome to come too. You know, the place of not worshiping my ego. And like I said, it seems to help all of you a lot more when I don't force myself on you. I don't force my opinions on you. I don't force my life on you and tell you to just be another little Andy clone. You know, how many people on the internet want you to be exactly like them? Doesn't that tell you that they're not very peaceful? And it's okay to not be peaceful. I wasn't for most of my life, and I'm still working on it. But doesn't that sort of tell you that they can't be that peaceful? Some of the loudest, angriest, most alpha male people on the internet, I can just see, and I might be wrong, I might be projecting, that's a possibility, but it appears to me that there's an insecurity there, or at least a lack of peace. If you have Lamborghinis and you've changed lives and you're every bit as much of an alpha male top dog as you say that you are, wouldn't at that point you'd be happy for people to join you and happy if they don't? Wouldn't you just not care? Wouldn't you be at that outcome independence point by that point? And maybe not perfectly outcome independent. I'm definitely not even close. But wouldn't you be a little further along and you'd be like, yeah, whatever, sign up or don't. It's all good. Like, I wish you all the best. I hope you all have a beautiful life. Why would you need to treat other people who don't believe in your opinions as the enemy? Why would you need to go to a war against people who don't think the same way as you? Wouldn't you just be like, hey, it's beautiful. I hope you continue to think whatever you think. Like, that's great. Like, wouldn't you just be happy? That's a topic for another day. I've talked about that quite a bit anyway. But yeah, I'm obviously not perfect with any of this stuff that I'm talking about, but beautiful things have happened over the last couple of years. You know, I mentioned the guy that had just signed up for the coaching now. And it's funny, he came on a coaching call with me like 3 months ago, and we talked about everything. And I said, do you want the coaching program? He was like, yeah, I do. I'm ready to sign up. We were like, great. We sent him the first invoice to pay the first deposit and get started. And he didn't pay it. And a week or two went by, and, you know, we sent him a couple of follow-ups. Hey man, like, what's up? Is everything okay? Like, do you want to talk about something? Do you want a lower initial deposit? I can work some magic and we can get you to pay a bit less. Like what's up? How can we help? And then he said, hey, I actually just lost my job and I don't know that now's the best time for me to pay you this money. And I had that little voice in the back of my head that was like, dude, like, come on, you got to like give him a pep talk and tell him like, come on, bro, like, you know, you can't afford to wait. Like, let's get your life together. And I was like, no, like, I'm years past doing. I'm not perfect with that. Sometimes I still fall back into that old mindset. But for the most part now, I don't do that. 98% of the time. And so I took a deep breath. I did some meditating. And I wrote him this really nice reply. And I said, I actually think this is an act of self-love, man. Because he was a little bit like apologetic in his email. He's like, I'm sorry I wasted your time. Like, I'm sorry you sat on a call with me for a couple of hours and gave me free coaching. And I said yes, and then you sent me the I'm sorry. Like, I'm sorry I didn't pay. Now it's like, no, man, I think this is an act of self-love. I think this is a kind thing that you're doing for yourself, that you're choosing to put your own sanity and anxiety and like peace. You're choosing to be peaceful and not stress about money and how am I going to get the next job, and I got bills to pay and I got to pay Andy, and like I also got to get a job, and how do I even go and talk to women when I'm trying to get a job? And yes, the coaching could help with all of that, of course, but you know, and I said like, you know, we can help you with this stuff if you want in the coaching. You're very welcome to come anyway, and we can help you get a next job. We've done that with other people, but yeah, if you don't want to do that, man, the coaching's always there. If you never take it, that's beautiful too. But I actually think this is you being kind to yourself. So good job, man. I'm sure this was a little bit difficult. You know, you said sorry to me. That tells me you feel a bit guilty. This was probably a bit of a challenge for you to say no to me, man, and feel like you'd let me down. But I promise you've done something cool, man. This is really good. Like, keep putting yourself first. Keep being kind to yourself. Go out there, get that job, man. Everything will be beautiful. And I never expected to hear from him again. You know, this happens quite a lot. Or from time to time, someone will like want to sign up and then something will happen like this. You know, it happens every now and then. And here he is. He came back like 3 days ago. email out of the blue, or he just reapplied for the coaching program, filled out all the form and everything. And Emmy was like, his name seems familiar. She checked the emails and she's like, oh, like here's the story, here's the situation. He applied, you apparently did a call with him, you coached him for a couple of hours, and he said he was going to sign up and he didn't. What do you want me to do? And I was like, yeah, if he's like ready to go ahead, just send him the first invoice. And if he pays it, we'll add him and he can be in the program. So he did. He paid it. He's in the program now. Today is technically day 0 or day 1, I guess. I only just added him last night. And that's not rare. That when I'm more peaceful and not forceful, a lot of people will end up signing up anyway. I can't tell you how many women I've slept with. It's like a lot. Where because I wasn't pushy and I completely respected and didn't judge them for saying no, or I'm not ready, or can we slow down, or is it okay if we don't have sex on this date, or can we just try again next, like can we do it next time? So many women literally fucking said to me, I really appreciate you being okay and not being mad and not pushing. I wouldn't have come back if you didn't. I think one that stands out to me the most is this girl who was a virgin. And this is years ago, back in my old city. This is like 7 or 8 years ago. And she was really scared. And we're in public, and I was like, can I kiss you? And she wanted to, but she was really nervous and really scared. So I was like, it's cool. I don't mind. And she was like, aren't you mad? I was like, why would I be mad? You don't want to kiss me. Like, why would I want you to kiss me if you don't want to? That's not fun. You're not going to have fun. If you're doing something you don't want to do, no, I want you to have fun. And she was like, really? But like, I've been on dates with a couple of guys now. And the fact that I'm inexperienced, and then she kind of confessed I'm a virgin. And I was like, that's cool. Like, I was a virgin one day. Everyone was. I think sometimes we forget that and we judge virgins. Like, people often judge male virgins will often judge themselves. We just phrase it like that. And sometimes other people will judge them too. But I said, that's cool. It's all good. And she was like, I've been on dates with other guys, and when they found out that I was a virgin and wanted to go a bit slower, they got angry, or they got frustrated, or they were like disappointed, or they didn't want to see me for a second date, or they got a bit pushy. I had one guy that was pushy, and I think I'm just sensitive to it now. Like, he literally tried to push me to sex, like physically, like touched me and stuff, and I didn't really like that. And it's like, yeah, no fucking shit. I don't want someone touching me if I say don't touch. Like, yeah, no shit. That's not fucking nice. It doesn't feel good. And so we talked for a while. We ended up hanging out for a long time, and we talked for a while. And she basically brought it up. She's like, I think I'd be willing to go to your apartment and maybe make out. Like, do you want to do that? This is on the first date too. And I was like, are you sure? Like, you're a virgin. Like, we didn't have to do anything. It's like first date. We've only talked for a couple of hours. Like, are you sure? She's like, yeah, you make me feel really comfortable. I think I want to. And I was like, okay. So we went to my apartment. I was like, well, what do you want to do? She's like, I don't know. Maybe we can try kissing. And so we went out for a long time. It's really fucking hot. And then again, I was like, what do you want to do? Like, do you want to try sex? We can go really slow. Like, slept with a few virgins. I know to go slow. I know to use some lube and take time and make you feel good and all of that. It doesn't have to hurt. In fact, if it's good sex, it won't hurt at all. Blah, blah, blah. And she's like, I don't think I can today. And I was like, yeah, that's cool. Like, what do you want to do? And again, she asked me, aren't you mad? Like, aren't you disappointed? Because I was really fucking turned on by that point. Like, my dick's hard. She knew it was hard. We'd kept our clothes on by that point, and we're just like lightly petting over each other's clothes and making out. And again, she's like, aren't you mad? Like, I don't want to disappoint you. I was like, why would I be mad? I want you to do what you want to do. Why would I want you to have sex? You just told me a story that some guy got physically, like, I don't know, aggressive with you, which is why, by the way, on a separate note, I don't really ever advocate for like escalation and keno, like touching people. It's like, just fucking ask. Be like, can I touch your titties? And then there you go. You don't have to ask every fucking step, but like, at least for the first couple, like, rather than just grabbing someone and making out with them in public. Anyway, separate discussion. Just be like, yo, can I fucking kiss you? You're hot as fuck. There you go. So we talked for a bit. And again, she was like, aren't you mad? No, I'm not. It's all good. And she didn't want to have sex that time. We ended up having sex like later on. But because I was non-pushy, again, she was like, thank you for being really nice to me. Can I give you a blowjob? I think I want to try that. I've never tried that. Can you teach me? And I was like, hell yeah, I'm really fucking horny. Of course you can. I came really quickly too. It was like fucking 1 minute blowjob. She wasn't even good at it. Like it was not a good blowjob. I was just so goddamn turned on by that point because it had been like a long time. Like we'd been fooling around for a long time is what I mean. And so yeah, gave me a blowjob and a hand job as well. And no, that's right. That's right. I lie. She didn't give me a blowjob. She gave me a hand job, and she wanted me to keep my underpants on because she was, you know, a little bit nervous and all of that. But she made me come in like 1 minute or something through my fucking underpants because I was really fucking turned on. And that was kind of weirdly hot. Like normally, you know, it might take a little bit more than that. It wasn't even a good hand job at all, but I was just so unbelievably horny. And she let me suck on one of her breasts while we did it. It was really hot. It was really fun. And yeah, the second time we met, she's like, you know, I'm only meeting with you, or thank you for not being pushy. I wouldn't have met with you if you'd been pushy. Like I just would have gotten freaked out. I've had quite a few coaching clients. There's one guy that I did a testimonial with recently on the channel. And he literally said, the only reason I signed up with you, he said it in the testimonial on the video on the YouTube channel. He said, the only reason I signed up with you is because you didn't push me. If you'd pushed me, I wouldn't have signed up. I'd been to other coaches and they'd been really pushy and I felt weird with the sales techniques. And so I only signed up with you because you weren't like that. You were chill. You didn't seem to mind if I said no. And a yes only counts if there's an opportunity to say no. If no is not an option, then it's not a real yes. That's such an obvious statement. And yet most of us, or most people, live our lives. I try not to do this anymore. So maybe I'll say most people live their lives thinking that if they can just take away the option of someone to say no, then they'll get what they want. So they try and make yes such an unbelievably attractive option. And they try and use fear of missing out and all of that to take away the option of no, or make the option of no seem like something you really don't want to have. This is like every advertisement, every social media, every government, obviously. Like sometimes you just literally can't say no. You can say no, but then they'll be like, here's a gun. Are you going to keep saying no? And you're like, yeah, no. And then they're like, right, you're going to jail. And you're like, great. Then why did you ask me? At least just admit that you're a dictator. Why are you pretending that that this is my choice? Why are you pretending that you're not holding a fucking gun to my head when you say pay taxes, bitch? Like, why don't you just show up at tax time and be like, pay your fucking taxes? Like, at least be honest, like the mafia sometimes were. Like, just show up with cops and a gun and say, we're taking 30% of your money, whether you like it or not. At least that would be intellectually honest. But again, most people, tax is just its own sort of separate thing. But most people in society, most of us, you know, again, sometimes myself too, I'm still working on letting go of this, try everything we can, especially in dating. So many of you are like, how do I escalate to a point where she wants to say yes? How do I make her say yes? How do I do this? What's a perfect pickup line to like bypass her brain and get her to a point where she's in a yes mood? How do I get her into a yes mood? How do I fucking change her brainwaves and manipulate her brain into a yes? It's like, why are you so afraid of a no? And is that yes really even that exciting if you know that you used a bunch of manipulation techniques? That's the point that I got to. Because I used to do all this stuff. I did a lot of manipulating and all of that in dating and sex and relationships, in love. Oh my God, I was manipulative. And definitely in business for the first year or two. I tried it for like a year and I was like, nah, fuck this. I'd rather make 1/50th of the money if I can fucking sleep at night and look my clients in the eyes and know that I didn't trick them into being there. Like, it's funny that people will even use the word trick. They'll go, hey, just try this new sales trick. Here's the top 5 tricks to get her into bed. And it's like, the word trick is a pretty close word to manipulation. Imagine if we had that as a YouTube video. Top 5 ways to manipulate a potential client into giving you money. 5, tips that will manipulate her into sleeping with you. If you wrote that, holy fuck, the internet would come down on you, wouldn't they? So we use subtle language and we rephrase things in our minds so that we can sleep a little better at night. And I did this for years, I was as manipulative as anyone else would ever be. And it didn't feel good. People would sleep with me and then doubted myself. I was like, are they sleeping with me because they like me, the actual, real, honest, authentic me? Or are they sleeping with me because of my technique and my tricks and all of that stuff? Is it me or is it my game? Is it me or the pickup line that I memorized? Is it me or the fact that I did what the red pill and other people told me to do? I wasn't being me. I was being some caricature of someone else and how they wanted me to be. And all I could ever be was whoever these women were willing to accept. They liked the caricature that I pretended to be, but they didn't know me. And sometimes I would take that mask off and show my true self. And then some of them reacted well and were like, wow, thank you for opening up to me. I like this. Imi was one of those people. And I wasn't too manipulative by the time I met her, but I definitely was guarded and I definitely had a mask on. I held back a little bit. But other people didn't react well when I took the mask off. They were like, wow, what the fuck? Now it's like a 180. Were you lying to me before? Are you lying to me now? Why have you changed? What's going on? And they would leave. And so when I just stopped playing those games and said, all right, I'm just going to tell the fucking truth. Yo, you're pretty. I like you. Do you want to go out with me? Yes or fucking no. Hey, look, I'm so sick of the games. I just want to meet someone for kinky sex and try some BDSM and have a good time and maybe go on a date. If we like each other, we can go back to mine and have sex. Do you want to do that? When I started just saying that and telling the fucking truth, same with coaching. Here is everything on my coaching page. Here's everything I'm offering. Here's a bunch of videos so you can roughly get an idea of what the coaching program is. Here's a behind the scenes video of what the coaching is like. Here's a bunch of interviews with people so you can see what the coaching clients themselves have to say. I'm not using fucking techniques on you. You're hearing from someone else who's not me so you can get a fucking actual better opinion, because why would you trust my opinion of my own coaching program? It's going to be biased. I put all that out there. Here's how much it costs. It costs $11,000 right now as I record, with payment plans that as long as you can pay $500 a month, you're good. You can join. I put all that out there. And then I'm just like, do you want it? Yes or no? Like literally that's all the calls are. The calls that I get on, the free call that I offer, I do a bit of coaching first. We might talk for an hour or two and coach you, help you, love you, give you all of that stuff, some advice. And then at the end, I literally just say, so like, we doing this thing? Do you want to do it? Yes or no? Like I literally just say that. There's no fucking like, I don't sit up and be like, all right, now listen, young man, like now's the time to change your life. Can you really afford to not like get your shit in order? I'm just like, do you want this? Yes or no? And yes, sometimes I do fancy little fucking motivational speeches, but even if you listen to my motivational speeches like on this channel, you will always hear me say, I will give the big speech and I'll say, I believe you can change your life. I'm right here. Come to the coaching program if you want to, and we'll change your life. And if you don't, that's beautiful too. I say that every fucking time. And as I started being a little bit more peaceful and less controlling, like I'm talking about here, I said this before, but my life just became a little bit more, or a lot more, peaceful. Clients changed their lives a little more easily because now they're in there because they actually want to be. The sex that I had with women was a whole lot better because now they're there because they want to be, not because I tricked them into being or convinced them. Why do I need to convince someone to sleep with me? They either want to fuck me or they don't. If they don't, I will go and talk to more people. I will improve myself along the way so that I am a more interesting, more appealing character that people might want to sleep with. I say character like person that people might want to sleep with. I do the same with my business. How about I do more content, help more people, change more lives, and then more people will want to sign up. Improve the coaching program along the way, which I've done every single year, year on year. It gets better and better. We add more, we improve more, blah, blah, blah. It's not perfect, not at all, but we're improving it constantly. And then I just fucking live my life. Why do I need to convince any of you to pay me money and change your life? You either want to or you don't. If you're not sure, then sure. Like I'll sit down and talk about it and talk through it. If you want a little motivational pep talk, then yeah, I'll give it to you. And then I'll say, but if you don't sign up, that's fine too. But why do I need to be attached to needing other people to pay me money? Why do I have to be attached to needing people to sleep with me? Why is it such a bad thing if a woman or a man says no to me for whatever, friendship, money, sex, whatever? Why is that a bad thing? Why is it not beautiful? Why is it not them going for what they want? Why is it not one step closer to the next yes? Everyone that says no to me is one step closer to the next yes. Why can't I celebrate that? Why even call it rejection? What the fuck? Why not call it a stepping stone? Why not call it them saying yes to themselves? They're saying yes to what they want. That's beautiful. That's an act of self-love rather than out of guilt or shame, which is what most sales techniques are. They are guilt, shame, and fear. That is most advertising, most marketing, most sales stuff, most coaching programs, definitely most products. Every government on the planet, with the exception of a couple of them. It's basically everyone operates under fear, control, shame, and guilt. And that's okay. Everyone's doing their best. God knows I lived most of my life like that, controlling other people with shame, guilt, fear. You should do this, otherwise you're a bad person. Or you should do this. Why? Because I want you to. What a shit fucking reason for someone to do something. But that's how most of the world currently operates. It's innocent, it's naive, it's childlike. And we are all just big children. That's what children do. Give me your toys. Why? Because I want them. I want ice cream right now. Why? Just because I do. There's no reason. They definitely won't improve your life to give me ice cream, but I want it. So I should get it. It's like the instant gratification of the child. And I'm still a child too myself. We're all slowly trying to wake up, grow up, and maybe make it to adolescence. I've literally said, sometimes in my content, my mission before I die is to get to a point where I can call myself an adolescent, maybe an adult. Like a rational, free-thinking person who doesn't need other kids' toys just because. Who doesn't need other people's money just because. Who doesn't need pussy just because. Again, so many of you are like, women should give me pussy. Why? Because I want it. Let that sit for a second. That's how a lot of you, maybe most of you, live your lives. And again, that's okay. I lived that way too for a long time, and I still do sometimes. If I ask a lot of you, why shouldn't a woman reject you? You'd be like, because it hurts my feelings. That's it? That's the whole reason? Because you want her to say yes to you? There's not much of a reason. Your Honor, I know I stole from that person, but it's because I wanted to. And it's like, that. Okay, you're still going to jail though. I want her to give me sex. Why? Because I want it. Okay? That doesn't mean she has to give it to you. And we know that logically. But then in the moment, we act butthurt when someone says no to us. She's entitled, or I'm entitled to her responding to me. She shouldn't just ignore me when I hit on her on the street. Why? She doesn't owe you anything. You're not entitled to her being polite to you. She can be an absolute raging bitch to you if she wants to and tell you to go fuck yourself and that you have a small dick and you should go die in a ditch. That wouldn't be very nice. But she can do that if she wants to. Plenty of people say stuff like that about me or to me on the internet. And for a long time, I argued with that. And I was like, they shouldn't do that. It's like, why? Because I don't want them to. Okay, that's not enough of a reason. People should give me money for my coaching. Why? Because I want it so I can pay the bills. Okay. There's not enough of a compelling reason for that person. They either want to because they like what you have to offer, or they don't. And that's okay. And so we're all on this mission together. I think I've said it 1 trillion times in this video. I am not perfect. None of this is me lecturing to you. In fact, all of this is me thinking through a lot of my own thoughts and coming to, I guess, certain realizations for myself. Because I'm not perfect with any of this. Not even a little bit. I might be a little bit further along than some of you. Some of you will be further along with this shit than me. And you'll be like, yeah, bro, I studied Buddhism for 10 years. Yeah, I get all this shit, man. You're preaching to the choir. Preach, sister. I get it, Andy. I know all of this stuff too. Or I think I know all of this stuff too. But we're all on this mission, and I'm just a guy like a lot of you. I said it at the start of this video. I don't know why I'm here. I don't know what the fuck this is. Look at this thing. This is weird. This life thing is freaking crazy. And I will be the first person to admit, I don't know. You know, it's like that. I think it was Socrates or someone like that who said, I know enough to know that I know nothing. I'm sitting here in front of you saying, I know nothing. I have some opinions. I can tell some stories, but I'm not certain of any of them. How could I be? Who's going to tell me that they're correct, that my opinions and my stories and my ego and my presumptions and my narratives are correct? Who's going to tell me? Is God going to come down? Is there going to be a man in a white beard come down and tell me like, hey, young man, I just want you to know that these 10 things that you think, they're correct. Then my very next thought would be, who the fuck are you? He'd be like, I'm God. And I'd be like, where'd you come from? I have always been here, my child. I am everything. And I'd be like, that's weird. My brain can't comprehend that. I don't know if I believe you. How can I trust you? And they'd be like, I'm God. And I'd be like, prove it. And then they do some shit. And I'd be like, I still can't know if you're actually God or if you're just a magician. I don't know if I believe you. I'm sorry, man. Like, you seem chill. You seem so cool. It's sweet if you really did make the universe. That's so dope, bro. I really appreciate what you've done. The universe is so beautiful. I appreciate this gift. Thanks for that, man. That's so cool. Yeah, I'm still a bit skeptical. So, like, literally, God could tell me that certain opinions of mine are correct, and I still wouldn't. I still have the doubt. So, to be so doubting that you doubt a God, but how would you know that that's the right God? And that's why I always find it funny when people are like, my book says that my God is correct, and so I should go and kill millions of other people because their book has a different God in it. And it's like, how are you that certain? And obviously, it's just the ego. I used to be that certain. Sometimes I still am that certain of certain things. I'm slowly letting go of that need to be certain, that ego attachment. And I'm getting quite comfortable being in a position where I say, I don't know. Maybe we'll finish up there. I feel like I could go on for hours. It's been an hour and 24 minutes. I appreciate all of you listening to the ramblings of a person who at the start said he doesn't know. Isn't that interesting? You all sat here, if you're still here now, you sat here for 1 hour and 24 minutes listening to a man who said he doesn't know. That's quite open-minded of you, and I mean that quite genuinely. So many people in society flock to whoever will stand up and say, hey, everyone, listen, I have all the answers. I am the top G. I am the alpha male. Or I'm the government. I'm the expert. I'm the guru. I can tell you all the answers. Listen to me. You must worship me. I have all the answers. And so the fact that you listened for 1 hour and 25 minutes to someone who started the video by saying, I don't know. I know enough to know that I know nothing. That's incredibly open-minded of you. If you can continue to embrace that open-minded mindset, I can't promise you anything. I can't tell you what will happen, but I just know in my life, maybe I'm a sample size of one. The more open-minded I have become, the more happy, peaceful, content, successful, loving, peaceful, joyful, the more sex I have, the more money I make, the more I enjoy doing those things, the more friends I have, the closer friendships I have, the deeper connections I have, like everything, like literally every metric of my entire life improves when I let go of my ego and say, I don't know. Now let's improve. I don't know. Let's learn. I don't know. Why don't you tell me what you think and I'll listen and take it on board and see if it helps me. Like if I can just, or as I practice being more experimentational and having no expectations, only curiosity, my God, everything in my life improves by every metric that I could ever measure it by. There is not a single part of my life that does not improve as I become less judgmental, less attached to my own judgments, which is what the ego is, it's just judgments, and more open-minded. Everything improves with not a single exception. There's a really good quote, and whether or not you believe in God or not, I don't know what I believe, but a really good quote that helps me a lot is let go and let God. In other words, focus on your business, focus on what you can control. Let other people do whatever they can do. That's their business. It's not your fucking business. Imagine if the whole world knew that. Hey, other people's business is not my fucking business. Man, the world would probably be a little bit more peaceful. I can't know that, but I am going to guess the world would be more peaceful, certainly more enlightened, whatever that word might mean to any of you. If other people are just like, you know what, it's your business. I'm not going to meddle in your business. You believe in, as long as it doesn't actually physically affect me, as long as you're not literally doing something to me, then you think whatever you want to think. You do your shit. That's your business. And so I'm a man working on that mission still. If any of this resonated with you, I'd love to hear in the comments, you know, how it resonated with you and what you maybe think. And if you're on the same sort of pathway as me and you're working on letting go of your own stories and your limiting beliefs. Maybe you're just someone who's at the start of your journey, and maybe a lot of this sort of went over your head. This would have gone over my head a couple of years ago, but maybe something clicked in there where you were like, yeah, I am attached to my limiting beliefs. Yeah, I am pretty certain that I can't make it, but I might be wrong. Maybe you're watching this channel because you're wanting me to convince you, or you're wanting really to convince yourself that you're wrong about your limiting beliefs and maybe you can make it. Like a lot of you literally come to the channel for me to say everything's okay and everything's going to be okay. I promise you can make it. Just keep going. That is a lot of the reason why a lot of you are here. And so if something in this video resonated with you, I'd love to hear it down below. If there's something that didn't resonate, feel free to share that too. You know, tell me what path you're on. Tell me where you're at. I'm never going to tell you what path you should be on, obviously. And I'm happy for you, whatever path you're on. If you want my help with any of this, obviously the coaching program is there. I've mentioned it 100 times in this video anyway. But a big part of what we do in the coaching program, as I've said, is be very non-judgmental. And literally the first question that I ask people when they come on a coaching call with me or when they join the coaching program is I say, what do you want? And then they'll tell me, and I'll say, tell me more. Let's dig deeper into those bits and pieces that you want. And then constantly throughout the process, throughout the coaching, like literally every day, constantly, every time someone will say, what do you guys think I should do? What is the right answer here? What do I have to do? We will flip that back around, and rather than just giving you the answers and telling you what to think as if you're some clone of me or the other coaches, no, you're you. We will turn that around and say, what do you want to do? And you always have an answer. Everyone always has an answer. They'll go, oh, I don't know. And we'll go, no, we'll think for a bit. We'll sit here, man. We got time. We'll chill. We don't care if we sit here for the next 5 minutes in silence, but just think for a little bit. Like, what would you like to try? What would you like to try next? You don't have to have the answers. You don't have to know if it's going to work out. You can't predict the future. I'm sorry, but your ego is not that powerful. What would you like to try? And then they go, well, maybe I could try this. And we go, beautiful. That sounds amazing. Go try that. Report back. And then half a day later, they report back. All right. Oh my God. I tried that thing that I said and it worked. I can't believe it. Holy shit. Or they say, hey guys, I tried that. It didn't work. What did I do wrong? And we'll go, you didn't do anything wrong. You experimented. It didn't work out the way you wanted it to. What can we try next? What do you think we can try next? And they'll say, well, maybe I could try this. And we go, fucking beautiful. Go try that. And then that will work. You know, this whole process is a process of experimentation. And all that we're ever really doing as we go through life is we're trying to learn from other people. And, you know, sometimes we will jump in there and give like actual advice. Like we do that a lot. I give a lot of advice. But like a lot of the time, maybe most of the time, we'll flip it around and say, what bad thing happens if you just try experimenting? You'll learn something. The worst case scenario is you learn something. That sounds like a victory. The best case scenario is it works out and you get to sleep with this person or build this business or lose a bit of weight or make a friend or whatever it might be. That sounds cool. Either way you win, damn. And the other person that you do it with, they get to win too. You make their life a little bit better. You make your life a little bit better. Or you and maybe them will learn something. Oh shit. All outcomes are great. Man, I can't wait for you to go out there and experiment. They go out there, they experiment, they win no matter what happens. If that approach to coaching and that approach to life, because really I'm trying to empower all of you to have the tools to navigate life in a way that makes you deeply happy, satisfied, fulfilled, content, ambitious. You know, we're going to push you with goals and all of that, but we're also going to make you enjoy the damn process. And if that sounds appealing to you, and for a lot of you, you've tried other coaching programs or you've read other content creators and watched their videos and all of that, and maybe something's missing in their approach, and nothing against them. This is not a like us versus them type thing, but maybe something's been missing and you can feel it. It's like right there in the back of your mind. You're like, yeah, they do kind of seem needy for me to do what they want. They don't seem to ever ask me what I think or what I want, or what I would like to try as the next step. They're just too busy dictating to me what the next step is, almost like an impatient teacher that doesn't have time to actually get in there with me and say, how you feeling? What's going on? Let's talk. What would you like to try next? What do you want? What do you want your life to look like? What do you want your sex life to look like? How do you want to approach dating? What is important to you? What principles matter to you? What values do you live by or want to live by or want to start living by? You know, we can help with all of that. Can even help you figure out the values that you want to live your life by, because some people come to us completely lost. We will help with that. But through this process of self-discovery, which is basically what the coaching is, you start to realize the inner power within you. You're like, holy shit, I've been capable this whole time of going outside and talking to lots of girls and having sex and relationships and marriage and all of that. I've been capable of starting a business and making tons of money, but I thought I was a loser. I thought I had to get all the answers. I thought I didn't know anything. What the fuck? The whole time I could have actually succeeded at this? Holy shit. Wait, there's probably other stuff that I could succeed at right now. Oh my God. And that's why you see with a lot of the coaching clients, they'll come to us for one goal. They'll be like, I want to get laid. And then in the testimonials that you'll see, or the videos, the interviews I do with them, They'll literally say, yeah, I got laid a ton. That was easy. That didn't take anywhere near as much time as I thought. And then I moved, and then I got a new job, and then I actually made up with my parents for the first time in 10 years. And then I deepened my friendships, and I started telling them I'm grateful for them. And now we have this great friendship. And then I started dressing better, and I hit the gym, and I lost weight, and now I got a personal trainer. And like, why do you think all that happened? It's not just because we like pushed them or some shit. It's because we showed them that that inner power is within them, that they have the ability to do amazing things, and they didn't need some external thing. We were just the match or the catalyst that lit that flame inside of them. We were literally just the ones that were grabbing a mirror and holding it up and saying, hey, look back at you. Look at the power that you have. Look at how incredibly capable you are. It's you, and it's always been you. All of you are infinitely powerful. You just don't know it yet. You think you're a loser. You think you'll somehow be more powerful if you have more sex. No, 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 no. The process of having more sex or making more money or making more friends, it's not that thing itself that makes you powerful. It's the realizations that you have in order to get there. It's the journey that you go on. Like, it literally is that cliche of it's not about the destination, it's the journey. Like, literally, when it comes to self-improvement and coaching, it is literally the journey that makes you into the end result, who is then capable of getting that goal or that success or that achievement. You don't just get the achievement and now I've become a fucking great human being. No, you start to slowly realize your own inner greatness, and then the thing just sort of almost magnetically comes towards you. Like, the person who truly believes in their own power and realizes what they're actually fucking capable of, which is all of you right now. I cannot understate that enough. You are all absolutely capable of greatness. Fucking hell you are. If you actually realize that, the world wouldn't be able to hold back from you. Like, the world would just start piling his money, his fucking success, his happiness, his love, his friendships, his relationships. You want sex? Fucking have too much of that until you get to a point you're like, holy shit, slow down, ladies or men. Like, you all need to calm down because I ain't got time in my calendar. The world would just fucking throw that stuff on you. If you realize your own inherent lovability, you realize your own inherent worth, your own inner dignity, and more than anything, your own power and capability. All of you are fucking capable. You just don't know that. That's kind of the point of my channel, is like an empowerment, fucking like feminism, but also for men as well. So what do you call that? Humanism. I'm like a humanist. I'm trying to empower every human on the planet to realize your own inner worthiness, greatness, and achievability. There's so many things out there that you're allowed to have. So many things that you have to give that you don't even know. Like, you have so much to give, to offer. You have so much to offer the world, and you don't even know it yet. And so if all of that appeals to you, hell yeah, that's what the coaching program is for. That's basically what we do. We get your inner lion to come out and you go, holy fuck, I didn't know I was this good. That's what most of the coaching clients talk about in those interviews, don't they? Go back and watch a bunch of them and you'll see most of them say, I really didn't know that I had this inside me. I didn't know I could do this shit. And it's like, yeah, it wasn't us. It wasn't the coaches. We just shone the mirror up to you. We held the mirror up to you. We shone the flashlight on you, and you realized, holy shit, I'm center stage, baby. Look at this. I'm great. I can do a lot. And then they did. And so if that appeals to you, there's links below to the coaching program. I've said this before, but we have payment plans. We'll work with you for less if we need to. We'll do whatever it takes to make it work. If someone comes to me and they're very, very dedicated and they want to make it work, we'll do whatever it takes to make it work, as long as I can see that you're serious. You know, if you worry that now's not the right time, I promise it is. If you worry that you're not good enough, I promise you are. If you worry you're too short, like I know all those fears. I know all of that. I will happily talk through that with you on a free call. I won't pressure you. Like I said, it would be hilarious. Could you imagine if I did this entire, hour and 40-minute video and then I pressured you? Do this entire video and then I just use sales techniques and shit on you, and I'm just like, all right, bro, can you really afford not to change your life? But that is how I used to talk, and that is what I used to do, and I'm glad that I've let go of that. It's a lot more of a peaceful state of being, and I actually get to lay my head down on the pillow at night and feel good about what I've done. And so if that's how you would like to live your life, you want to have a sex life where you actually feel good about what you've done and feel good that you've added to the lives of the people that you sleep with. If you want to start a business and feel good about the way that you make money. If you want to have friends and you feel really connected to them. That's what the coaching is for. So links in the description below to that. I appreciate all of you being here. Like I said, would love to read some comments if you feel like sharing about, if this resonated with you, how you're feeling, what you're working on, if the whole peace and letting go of control and all of that appeals to you. You can drop a comment below if you want to. If you don't want to, that's fucking fantastic too. I'm really grateful to all of you. Nothing but love for all of you. Not bad for a video where we started by saying give yourself permission to suck. If that's not a lesson to any of you, I don't know what will be. What happens if you give yourself permission to suck and go outside right this second, right this millisecond, go out there and give yourself permission to suck and do something cool. Because fuck it. Why not?